Hello and good morning. Welcome back to another episode of Soul Talk Radio. Today's episode, we're going to be discussing how to let go of things that we cannot change. So I know that in your life, there are always things that we're worried about, right? And some of those things we can change, and we should always take action to change the things that we can. However, I also know that there are things in your life that you're worried about that you can't change. And we have to work to release those things with love and compassion and let them go. And we may have to work to release it over and over every time that thought comes up. So I want to talk about that today and give you guys some tips on how to do that. First of all, I want you to ask yourself an essential question when you're having a worrisome thought. And this question is, this thing that you're worried about, can it be changed? If the answer is yes, I want you to write out a list of steps that you need to do to change that thing and then take deliberate action. If the answer is no, you cannot change that thing. It's extremely unhelpful to keep ruminating over it. And trust me, the second I say that, I know your mind, because my mind does the same thing. It says things like, easy for you to say, because our minds are just so great at holding on to that one thing we're worried about and repeating it over and over and over like a broken record, right? But I have some tools today that will hopefully help you with that. So one thing that I do to help me is anytime the awareness is established that I'm, thinking that worrisome thought again or thinking about that thing that I can't change, I treat it like a meditation. Just like in meditation, our thoughts will always come back in, right? But what do? We then notice that they've come back in and we work to bring our mind back to the present moment again, or we work to bring our mind back to the guided visualization, whatever we're doing. And we do that over and over and over. The mind always comes back in, and that's okay. But it's a practice, right? You're practicing that meditation of bringing the mind back again, back again, back again, every time that you notice it has wandered. So I do the same thing when I'm experiencing a reoccurring worrisome or anxious thought. I will work to establish the awareness that my mind has wandered to that thought. And then I will work to either do one of four things. I will either bring my attention just to another thought. I'll think, okay, you don't have to think about this right now. Think of something else. I'll think about my to-do list or something from my day. I'll bring my attention either number two to a better feeling thought. Sometimes I'll just picture what's the best case scenario that could happen. I mean, I know you're worried about this thing, but what's the best case scenario? And I'll picture that thing and I'll visualize that. Number three is I'll try and come to a gratitude thought of just a thought of something that I'm grateful for. I'll think about my house or my car or my health or my friends, my family, my dog, something that I'm grateful for, and I focus my attention on that. And fourth, I will come back to the present moment. I will focus on my breath. I'll just focus on the sights and sensations around me. Actually, let's do that together now. I don't think I've actually ever taught a short meditation with you guys through the podcast. I do teach a meditation on the Insight Timer app every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. So that just ended. But let's do it together now. So again, doing one of those four things, either bringing your attention to a different thought, bringing it to a better feeling thought, bringing it to a thought of gratitude, or bringing it to the present moment. Let's focus on bringing it to the present moment. So just begin to focus your attention in on your breath. The subtle sensations of the breath. Just trying to notice everything about this moment. The rise and fall of your breath. The chest as it expands with each inhale and as it contracts with each exhale. Noticing that cool sensation on the upper lip as we inhale. Sometimes that cool sensation travels into the throat and the lungs. Noticing the warm sensation on the upper lip as we exhale. And also begin to notice the subtle noises around you. Not labeling anything as good or bad. They just are. They just exist with us in this moment. Maybe you hear the sounds of birds or your fan. Maybe the sound of wind or your children playing. Just noticing. Becoming curious of what's happening in your present moment. Curious of the body. How is the body feeling? Are we holding tension anywhere in the body? Tension is very often held in the shoulders. Can we relax the shoulders down? Are we holding tension in the jaw? Allowing the jaw to release. The teeth can part, but the mouth would stay closed. And if you'd closed your eyes, you can open your eyes and come back to the moment with me. So that would be an example of coming to your present moment. Noticing the subtleties that are going on around you. It's bringing your attention away from those thoughts that are continuing to ruminate, continuing to repeat the same things in our minds, and just bringing it to the present. And I try and do it all the time. Even when I'm washing dishes, I'll try and pay attention to the water. Wow, this water feels really warm. The soap smells nice. The soap feels nice on my skin. Just anything that I'm doing, if I don't want to still continue to ruminate on my thoughts, I'll try and bring it back to the present. And it can be as simple as putting on my shoes. I think Rumi talks about that in one of his books. I think it was Rumi. Maybe somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but he had this whole paragraph about the joy he felt just getting dressed in the morning, just focusing on everything, focusing on how the clothes felt against his skin, focusing on the softness of his shoes as he slipped his shoes into his, as he slipped his feet into his shoes, and all of those things. That's all a form of meditation. Mindfulness and meditation, I'm getting off track, but it's valid. I know that some people consider them two different definitions, mindfulness and meditation, but I truly think they're one and the same. Being mindful, being in the moment is also a form of meditation, and I do it all day long. And when you do it, you feel joy of just being in the moment. Eckhart Tolle talks about it. I think he calls it just the joy of being, just the joy of being in that moment and being kind of free from our reoccurring thoughts as often as we can, right? Not placing any pressure or not feeling any shame if we forget to be in the present moment for a while. I'll forget for a day, for a week, for a whole month to be in the present moment. It's okay. It's whenever we think about the fact that our mind is chattering, most of the time very negative thoughts or worrisome thoughts, and trying to bring it away from that and back to our present moment. So another thing that I'll do when I catch myself worrying, or if I catch myself, oh gosh, I know all of us can relate to this. Like the second you go to fall asleep, your brain's like, so is now a good time to go over everything that we regret in our lives? And so when I catch myself doing that, I'll use a few different phrases. And I'll use these phrases to almost jolt myself out of that moment. And then that's when I'll navigate my thoughts back to, again, just a different thought, a better feeling thought, or a thought of gratitude. And I actually pulled this from my book that I wrote, which is called The Shift. And again, it's in the process of being published right now. But some of these phrases are, I'll say to myself, stop, when I notice that I'm doing it. Or I'll say, we're not doing this right now. I'll say, you don't have to think about this right now. Everything is okay. In this moment, I am safe. I'll say, I am always protected and divinely guided. Or I'll say, I cannot change the situation, so I release it fully now. And again, those are, I'm sure you can think of lots of different ways to kind of jolt yourself out of that worrisome thought and then work to shift the thought. So again, the main things when we notice we're worrying is, number one, creating the awareness that we are worrying, creating the awareness that our thoughts are going down that negative thought spiral, right? And we're continuing to repeat the same things over and over in our head. Joe Dispenza, if you've ever read the book, I think he talks about it in the book, Becoming Supernatural. He says, all of the thoughts that we're thinking, like 90% of them are the same thoughts we thought the day before, right? They have become programmed thought patterns at this point, and we're just repeating the same thing over and over. So you have to become aware first that you're thinking those things, that you're repeating those thoughts, and then we can work to shift them. Number two would be, again, asking yourself that essential question: can I change the outcome of this situation? And remembering what I said at the beginning, if you can change it, listing steps to change it. If you can't change it, working to release it. So that is all I have for you guys today. I did want to tell you, I forget to tell you guys about, my other businesses, but I am a mindfulness and anxiety coach. And if you're interested in a session with me, please go to my website. You can book a free discovery call there. And my website is meganshirey.com. And if you like this episode, please like, share, and subscribe. We record these episodes every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then they are available on every major podcasting platform on Monday mornings at 7 a.m. If you love our content, or if you have a question or an episode idea, please leave us a review or a comment. We'd love to hear from you. And may you be happy, may you be well, may you be joyous and at ease. Sending you infinite love and light. And thank you so much for joining me today. I'll see you next week.